League. Mark Burnham, loving all the Wolves fans from around the UK and world. Let's get there in one pack. Agreed. Luis Villa, what would you hate more, Jimenez or Man United? Jimenez and Man United or in Juventus, and never asked about any. Well, I don't think he'd go to United, and I don't think him Juventus will be able to afford him. If we get Champions League, Jimenez will be with Wolves next season, guaranteed. In fact, the Mexican manager actually said this week, you can move and it not work out, and sometimes happiness is where you are now, and it is clear that Jimenez is settled, so we'll have to watch and see what happens with them. Jack Horton, do you think Neto should have started? No, Jack, I don't. I think Jota's been doing a good job. He just hasn't had the breaks, and Jota, when he starts scoring, he goes on purple patches. I think Neto is a great player to bring on. Lee Bettles, come on Villa from Leicester. Lee, what I guess you want Villa to do well. Fair enough, because obviously you're a little bit worried. As I said, if I was a Leicester fan, I don't know, Lee, give us the feedback. Are you starting to get a little bit looking over your shoulder and worried? I can imagine you might be. That was Tato Martino. Yeah, that's right, Randy. Oh, is it Leicester Chelsea in the FA Cup? I thought they were playing in the league. Fair play, soon. I thought they got each other in the league coming up. Tell me if I'm wrong. Look at the fixture list, somebody, and let me know if Leicester have got to play Chelsea. I'll like another Jedi in the house. Wolves win, please. Lee Bettles, just a lot. Paul Drummond, the aim now is Champions League now. You've got to go for it, Paul. No doubt about it. We're up to 155 in the house now. Fantastic. They've got each other in the league. Here coming up. Villa. Tell me if I'm... Aston Vanilla.
So the famous current blue shirts of Aston Villa, who are fighting for their Premier League lives at the end of the season. And Wolves, who will wear the famous old gold shirts.
Robin Hook. Nuno had a dream to build a football team. He certainly did. And what a dream we're living at the moment. In fact, if we get Champions League and win the Europa League, we will be in dreamland. So Villa are out lining up. How are we feeling on the far side of the room? What's the score? What's the score prediction from you?
Well, I've got a bet on a Wolves win and a back target card.
So the other side of the room from
So Troy's got to come on for that.
From Wolf Girl, a Wolves win and a Mac target card. And what's the odds on that?
I don't know. It's not bad. It's the card that adds it.
There we go.
Anytime card.
Anytime card. Leicester play Man United on the last day. Same day we play Chelsea. Hello from Galveston, Texas. Hey, Xavier. How you doing? Alberto, vamos Wolves, desde Mexico, apoyo todo. I hope I said that right. I do my best with the... I do my best. Not being fluent in Mexican and Spanish. So they're just putting the team news up now on the screen. Jedi Gremlin, come on Wolves. Stephen Voss, Japanese commentary in Japan on DAZN. Wolves getting notice here in Japan. Well, as I say, Stephen, get in touch, please. Instagram or via my email. I'll talk to you about getting you on for the representing Japan from my international fan reaction. I have like about 12 countries at the moment. It's very popular. Always have guest UK ones as well. And but I haven't got Japan. I've not got Germany. Sometimes I get Mexico. I've not got Portugal. So I'd love to get you involved. Luis Villa, even if Raul Jimenez leaves the Wolves, we as Mexicans are supporting the team. It's created a feeling. I love that, Luis. Fantastic. I love it. Burger Andy, while Wolves is playing right now, it's 4:30 a.m. and he hasn't slept. That is commitment. Electro Red, I'm actually really excited for the match. Many fun adventures. Fingers crossed that the stream runs perfectly with the commentary. Yeah. Xavier, I think 4-0. Jimenez hat-trick. Randy Torres, who's Wolves' biggest rival, West Brom or Aston Villa? I'll let all the Wolves fans answer that question for you in the comment section rather than me saying. I know what they're going to say.
7 games left. Aston Villa in the bottom 3.
That'd be great, Stephen, if you would.
How important the next 4 weeks will be. And as a lifelong Villa fan, he's got the emotional and professional attachment to the club. Nuno knows a strong finish could see Wolves in the Champions League next season. They've got the league position and the
so nervous. Come on, 3 points. 3 points, lads. So they're just doing the knee thing again at the moment before the start of the game. Hi, Keith from Australia. Keith's on my international fan. So, Stephen, if you do Japan, you'll be joining Keith from Australia. That's Bazrat. West Brom is the real rivals. Twitch says I will be 100%. Always going to be the Baggies. And we're up and running.
So both teams have 7 games left to play, with each one of them critically important. Villa are 19th, with only Norwich below them at 3 points, and they would lift them out of the relegation zone.
So if Villa get a win, or they will be out the relegation zone. If Wolves get the win, we're 3 points off 3rd place. Hi, Josh. Welcome back.
And close the gap on Chelsea if they win. The circumstances might be different. The atmosphere certainly is, but in terms of what this means to both of them, Glenn, it's...
I think it's BT, actually. The way they do it, I think on Sky, it tends to be pretty much up at the same time, whereas BT tends to be slightly back. So here comes Moutinho surging through the middle, knocks it off to Jimenez. Jimenez is knocking it across to the Doc, who's early upfield, up by the edge of the Villa box, knocking it back. Bolly's with the ball. Wolves just trying to take control. Back with Cody. Cody's knocked a long diagonal ball, hasn't worked out. But Wolves will pick up the thing, and it's out for a Villa throw-in. Joss, actually, he's a lovely chap. He's a Bournemouth fan. He was on the last stream. Really lovely guy. And Josh, I'm hoping that we can do Bournemouth a favour for you today. Let's hope you're right, Paul. It's on BT Sport, Nathan. So, Doherty, Bolly, chips it forward. We've got to make sure that we try and get a grip of the midfield early doors. It's a bit weird, isn't it, watching this as well? And there's obviously I would be there in the stadium with the
switch the point of the attack with a long diagonal wide to this near side. It's controlled by Johnny back towards Saiss, but Saiss's ball goes straight out of play, and that will be a throw-in for Aston Villa. And after the torrential rain on our arrival a couple of hours before kick-off, it's now really good playing conditions, not too warm, but clear blue skies with some patchy cloud overhead as Target plays a long ball forward on the far side for Aston Villa. It's quickly cut out, and now Neves goes back towards Bowley. His high ball down the line, right-hand side, headed in field by Dendoncker, but it's quickly won back, and Villa, of course, have the players in the team to maybe try and be a bit more expansive today. As Douglas Luiz goes back towards Concert, long down the line, right-hand side, beyond Keenan Davis, and Saiss just touches that. So Rui Patricio had to play the ball from the ground, and it's a good ball forward from him, looking for Johnny, but he runs it out of play. And with 2 minutes played, Villa have a throw-in on this near side. Trevor?
Yeah, it was quite switched on there by the keeper, the Wolves keeper. You know, it just nicked off the outside of the defender's foot, and rather than pick it up and give the referee a decision to make, he dealt with it, he kept it on the floor and found a gold shirt.
These two sides have played twice already this season. Wolves winning the league game at Molineux by 2-1, with Neves and Jimenez both on the score sheet. But Villa did beat Wolves here on their run to the Carabao Cup final. Ahmed El Mohammadi scored the winner on that night, and of course he followed that up with his first Premier League goal of the season. Such a crucial one for Villa late on at St James's Park in midweek, and they came from behind to win that match, or rather draw that match. Dwight Gale scoring the opening goal for Newcastle. And although they've only picked up 2 points from their 3 games since the resumption, They are just beginning to put pressure on those around them as Villa try and build now. They ping the ball around the midfield in neat and tidy fashion, and Douglas Luiz quickly transfers it to Conor Harahan on this near side. So Mata looks to make the run in behind, but it's wide towards Ezri Konsa. He's been tumbled by Johnny, and it will be a free kick for Aston Villa, and they've started well.
Yeah, looking after the ball well. I think they've matched them up in the middle of the park with the three against the three midfielders for Wolves. I think you'll find that the space for Wolves will be on the wings, but it's whether they can get the ball out there to them and get 2 against 1s. But yeah, good start from Villa. They're looking after the ball. Luiz is a good footballer. You can see he's had a good upbringing at Manchester City. Uses the ball well, and Grealish is going to try and get into little pockets and try and pick the ball up and get half turned and create something.
Now Samata tries to cross in from this near side but right, but he just runs out of room at the Holt end, and the ball bobbles into the side netting, and it will be a goal kick for Wolves. Nearly 4 minutes played here on TalkSport. It's Aston Villa 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, and Villa have a player down, Matt Targett, on the far side, right on the halfway line. So Craig Pawson, our referee, just goes across to have a look and then waves on the Aston Villa medical team. And they've had so many injury problems in key positions, and the way they've set out today, Matt Targett, with the ability to get forward, is such a key player for them.
Yeah, key player. He's got great energy down that left-hand side, and this is a bit of a worry, I'm sure, for Dean Smith. We can just see the substitutions warming up. Neil Taylor, he plays in a full-back position, so he could be used. Let's hope he's prepared properly.
Just looking at the replay. Targett just played the ball in field,
hamstring,
and the hamstring went straight away.
Yeah, and I mean, you'd like to think he's not tore his hamstring. He'd be warmed up properly, stretched properly, but sometimes these things just happen. It might be back related. You can get kind of referred pain down your hamstring when you've got a stiff back and things like that, but let's just hope it's not as bad as it looks. But at the moment it looks like he's definitely had a little twinge there, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to carry on.
And Neil Taylor is warming up just in front of us, and it wasn't even a stretch there, was it? It was just a simple ball.
Yeah, comfortable 10-yard pass with the instep of his boot. I don't know if he's been carrying an injury or he's had an issue there, but it certainly seemed like it almost looked like it snapped. He pulled up really sharply and went straight to ground, and let's just see now. He'll have to go off the pitch anyway, but whether he can carry on or not is yet to be seen.
Well, he's back on his feet. Craig Pawson is just ushering him towards the far side, but he's now jogging around, and he looks to be moving with a degree of freedom.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's got cycling shorts on, however his shorts are just ridiculously tight, but if he has got cycling shorts, maybe that indicates that he has got a bit of an issue there, which he's had for a while.
The play will now restart. It's a goal kick for Wolves at the Holt end. And if you want your championship action this lunchtime, retune to TalkSport 2. Commentary is underway. Preston against Cardiff, and there'll be news and updates as well from the other lunchtime kickoffs. Charlton against Queen's Park Rangers and Swansea at Luton on TalkSport 2. And there's a couple of 1 o'clock games as well. Barnsley against Millwall and Derby against Reading. And we have commentary here on TalkSport following this game with Adrian Durham live from Ellen Road. The big one today, Leeds against Fulham. Such a key game at the top of the championship. And at 5:30 here on TalkSport, we have the first of the FA Cup quarter-finals. That is Norwich against Manchester United. TalkSport, the only place to hear all 4 games. Sheffield United against Arsenal at 1 o'clock tomorrow is exclusively live on national radio here on TalkSport. We'll also have Leicester against Chelsea and Newcastle against Manchester City, along with the semi-final draw, which is at half-time in the evening kickoff at St James's Park. Here at Villa Park, Grealish goes down on this near side. He's the most fouled player in the Premier League this season, and his tally's just been added to there.
Yeah, clumsy challenge. I think Jack Grealish is great. He protects the ball. He's prepared to take a whack for the team. I'd just like him to move the ball a little bit quicker so he didn't have to take so many hits. But he does defend the ball well. He gets his body between the ball and the defender, and the defender's going to make a challenge. More often than not, he goes through Jack Grealish and he wins the foul. But that was a clumsy one by Jota.
Harahan will take the free kick, an in-swinger left-footed across the penalty area towards the far side. It's headed towards goal, but in the end it just harmlessly drifts behind. It was the former Wolves man Courtney Howes who rose highest, but it was never going to trouble Rui Patricio.
Yeah, it would have been better just helping that into an area rather than going for goal. It was quite a high ball that came into the 18-yard box, and rather than go for goal, he could have just helped it into an area and hoped that one of his teammates got on the end of it. He chose to go for goal and it harmlessly over the bar.
8 minutes played on Talk Sports Game Day. Goalless here at Villa Park. Villa currently 19th in the table. They are 1 point adrift of safety, but with only 2 points in their last 7 games, which have both come since the resumption. Wolves are 6th, 5 points behind Chelsea and 4 clear of Spurs. And of course, this is going to be their longest season, because at the end of the Premier League campaign, they will be focusing on the Europa League. They are currently 1-1 at half-time in their round of 16 tie with Olympiacos. As Cody, pressurised by both Samatta and Davis, plays it wide to the far side. Willy Bowley with a long ball over the top. Jimenez will chase, and Jimenez is flagged offside, and it will be a free kick to Aston Villa with 9 minutes played, and it's 0-0 here at Villa Park.
Yeah, going to be an intriguing battle that between Means and Jimenez, both quick. Jimenez is quite
Target's
happy.
down again, sorry Trevor.
Oh yeah, he's obviously got a problem. Yeah, looks like Taylor's coming on in that left back position.
Neil Taylor is somebody who is ideally placed to come in. Of course, he's found himself in and out of the Villa side now for a couple of years, but I'm not sure if Target may need the stretcher in the end, because they'll need to be very careful, because if there is any chance of him coming back for these big games, they've not got too long to get him ready.
Yeah, I can't envisage that he'll be back in time. Any hamstring injury usually takes at least 3 weeks. You know, even if the wound itself or the injury itself only takes a couple of weeks or 10 days to recover, you've still got to strengthen that area again before you come back, and that usually takes at least 10 days on top of that.
So Matt Target has only lasted 10 minutes here at Villa Park today. First change for Villa. Neil Taylor, the man who comes on. Welsh international, of course, he would have been looking forward to playing in the Euros. In fact, he'd have gone through the group stage at the Euros by now, in normal circumstances. As Concert just knees the ball out on this near side. It will be a throw-in for Wolves, taken quickly by Johnny, then down the line looking for Jota down the left, but it's quickly cut out by Concert. But now a throw-in over the top from Johnny. It's also kneed across the penalty area by Jota first time, looking for Jimenez, but Villa will clear. But João Moutinho with such a clever ball forward, and then Ruben Neves was caught in the act of passing there by Keenan Davis, who's also emerged from the challenge rubbing his shoulder. No free kick given, and Boyan Neeland will bowl the ball out to Tyrone Mings on the far side with 11 minutes played. Of course, it's so strange, Trevor, to have a local derby in an empty stadium. There's been 1 or 2 derby challenges out there.
Yeah, there's no shrinking violets out there. Everyone's putting everything into it. That was a good challenge by Davis, and I think that's going to be really important for Wolves, that they try and get Moutinho on the ball. Davis obviously got in there then and made a challenge, but if Moutinho starts ticking this team over, I think Villa will be in a lot of trouble. So they've got to rotate who goes on Moutinho to stop him being the playmaker.
Kneeling clears downfield. Plenty of white puffy clouds in the blue sky above Villa Park now. It's controlled neatly by Keenan Davis, who's then bowled over by Ruben Neves, and it will be a free kick for Aston Villa midway inside the Wolves half. We've played nearly 12 minutes here on Talk Sports Game Day, and it's goalless here. Villa Park, of course, which is such a great grand cathedral of English football, has been really nicely dressed up for the resumption. Villa fans from all over the country, all over the world, have been given the opportunity to pin up their flags of St George on the far side as Grealish takes a free kick high towards the far post and straight out of play. And for a player of his undoubted quality, that's a real waste.
Yeah, it was a great position inside right, about 20 yards outside the 18-yard box, and you just want to see him hit that second 6-yard box away from the keeper and get the bodies in there. He put a little bit too much on that and it went harmlessly out for a goal kick. But I don't want to tempt fate here, but Cons has just pulled up with his hamstring as well, so watch his space. He looks like he's not walking too easily there.
Leslie Conser is a player who will be well known to Dean Smith following their time together at Brentford, and we did hear from the medical people during lockdown that there would be a number of muscle injuries and strains with so many games in such a short space of time. But this is Villa's fourth.
Yeah, again, you say that, Nigel, but if in lockdown you give the players strength and conditioning exercises to do, your squats, your lunges, you know, your plyometric work, your SAQs, they can do that on their own. Why would they? I don't think there should be muscular injuries.
Grealish with a terrific run into the penalty area down the left-hand side, left 2 or 3 Wolves players trailing before Willy Bowley eventually stepped in to concede the game's first corner.
Yeah, he's elegant, he can go both ways, so great balance there down the left-hand side, going past a couple of the Wolves defenders, and won his team the corner.
Not too many players go beyond Matt Doherty as easily as that.
He does move so well with the ball though, Grealish. You know, I'm a big fan of his. He's brave on the ball, and like I said earlier, he's prepared to take a kick now and again to protect the ball.
Arahan delivers the corner high towards the far post. Again, it's aimed for Courtney Hawes, and he wins it once again, but there's no threat behind the header, and it bobbles behind for a goal kick, taken quickly by Rui Patricio, and Diego Jota has isolated Taylor midway inside the Villa half. The cover comes back now, Jota turns in field, and he also turns into traffic. A marvellous Nakamba, the Zimbabwe international, wins it back on the edge of the Villa penalty area, and Grealish again coming very, very deep to win the ball back for Aston Villa on the edge of his own penalty area. And that's been a concern for Villa fans since the resumption, Trevor, that he's seeing too much of the ball, too far away from the opposition goal. Yeah,
you want him in the final third of the pitch where he can create, but at times I think they've got to rotate Villa. You know, any good team, you'll see players rotating, and Hurahan just ended up in that number 10 position there, so why wouldn't he get back? But initially really good play by Patricio, playing the ball downfield, looking for a one-on-one situation with Taylor, who dealt with that one-on-one situation well, stuck to task, and in the end Villa got players around the ball and won the ball back quite easily.
Trevor Sinclair and Nigel Adderley talking you through the action here on Talk Sports Game Day at Villa Park as Grealish tries to thread the eye of the needle on the edge of the penalty area to release Keenan Davis, but it was overhit and it's gone behind for a goal kick. And this basically is the Villa formation they went to after conceding that late goal at Newcastle, pushing Grealish a bit further forward, and the way they played at the end of that game, they got the draw and maybe they could have won it.
Yeah, I think this formation does suit them, especially
when you area to release on the ball
Keenan further forward on the pitch. He does do a good job in that number 4 position as a holding midfielder, but for me his best work's done in that final third, and that's where Villa needs to try and get him on the ball.
Villa have it again with Neil Taylor, who's just come on for Matt Targett. If you've just joined us on Talk Sport, Targett suffering a hamstring injury very early on in the game, so Villa forced into the first of their 5 changes as Connor Cody is closed down by Keenan Davis on the far side, and the ball ricochets off the Villa youngster behind, and that will be a goal kick, a key goal at the bottom of the Championship in one of the 12:30 kickoffs. Charlton 1, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Darren Prattley has scored the opening goal at the Valley, and Charlton really showing signs of life.
Yeah, Lee's done a fantastic job there. You know, limited resources. He's sold some of his best players as well, and he's probably his star striker has decided that he doesn't want to play for reasons that I actually understand. You know, he's not a young player anymore, and it's took him a long time to get him to where he is, with a potential move on the cards. And yeah, Lee Boyd's done a fantastic job there. It's a shame it's against my old team, QPR.
But you're sort of mid-table now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Maybe had hopes of the playoffs until Barnsley.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's going to happen this season. But
Wolves have a free kick on this near side, and it's pinged all the way across from right to left by Romain Saiss, and now Ruben Neves. Wolves have not had too much sustained possession so far inside the Villa half, and a flick by Doherty takes a deflection off Taylor, and it will be a throw-in for Wolves in front of a huge Aston Villa crest picked out across the seats on the halfway line in the Doug Ellis stand, as Jota now looks to make a break down the right-hand side, and he got the better of Mings, and Mings just put an arm on his shoulder, pulled him back, and it's a free kick for Wolves, very close to the penalty area on the right-hand side, and it will be a yellow card for Tyrone Mings.
Yeah, industrial kind of tackle that from Tyrone Mings. Good play initially down the right-hand side, and he just got wrong side of Tyrone Mings, and there was no way he was going to allow him to go past him there. Easy one for the referee, yellow card.
And it's a free kick. Jean Moutinho is over for Wolves, and it's only half a yard outside the penalty area. Down their right, Wolves attacking the north stand here in the first half at Villa Park, which has Brian Moore's legendary commentary of Peter Widd's winner in the European Cup final right across the middle of it. And Moutinho now has plenty of height to aim for. Bowley, Saiss and Dendoncker are all forward here. Doherty lurking with intent at the far post, and it's floated in towards the near post, and the header, a glancing header, is kept out well by Neelan. Great movement there from Jimenez, and Neelan did really well to make the save.
Yeah, he's a magnet as soon as he gets in there, especially with his head. Superb header of the ball, great bit of reverse movement just to get that half a yard, hit the target, and it's good goalkeeping in the end. It bounced off him a little bit, Nyland, as he made the initial save, but he was on it in a flash because there was players around ready to clean up.
And that really is Raul Jimenez in a nutshell. They never saw him coming.
No, good movement again. He's just got that knack, you know, he's got that sixth sense where the ball's going to go to. Fantastic delivery by Jimenez, not too high, nice low one, whipped him with a bit of pace, and he glanced it on target.
Another player from Tanzania, Samatta, finds Douglas Luiz, who tries to pick out Harahan on the edge of the area, but it's cut out by Romain Saiss. But Douglas Luiz has it again. 19 minutes played here on Talk Sports Game Day, and it's goalless here at Villa Park, but it's been a good game so far. Plenty of quality on both sides, and Wolves with the game's best chance. That header from Jimenez, which was kept out by Neeland. Now Nakamba finding Grealish, now popping up down the left-hand side again. Grealish directing the traffic as Nakamba creates the angle for the return.
He didn't stick that in. A yard either side he would have. That was actually a very, very good opportunity, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He couldn't get much power on it. It makes him sort of flicking it, but it was a good chance. But a comfortable save, really. But worrying that Villa are playing it like that rather than going man marking. They're going zonal. There was 6 players just doing nothing on the 6-yard box.
All in a line.
Yeah, just doing.
It's like they were queuing for the goal or something, wasn't it? Maybe they will be soon at this rate. A joke. That's harsh. That is harsh. Anyway, what can they do? Looking a bit more fearful, shall we say, with the ball at their feet, Aston Villa. A bit more potential to this. As Grealish plays it inside to Tyrone Mings. Hurahan. The 2 strike partners combine Samatta and Davis, but Grealish can't do much with the ball as it's flicked to him under heavy pressure from 2 Wolves midfielders. And easily the away team, the Black Country side, they win it back. But there's a misunderstanding there. And Villa now win it back. It's been a bit scrappy the last few minutes of this West Midlands derby, but nearly 20 played. Villa 0, Wolves 0. Villa scrapping for their lives, second bottom of the table. Wolves 6th. Wonderful form. And looking temporarily to go above Manchester United into 5th place in the standings. Even a draw would do that for now. You think with the form that Man U were in, they could well ease that gap back. We shall wait and see. Now Hawes just dwells on the ball slightly, nearly gets himself into trouble, but recovers and plays it back to his goalkeeper. Nyland smacks it downfield and out of play for a throw. Jean Moutinho, the man, making a little nuisance of himself. And is it just me, or is he hobbling a tiny bit as well? There's 1 or 2 members of the Walking Wounded out there at the moment. We've lost Matt Targett already to injury. Davis is struggling, and not sure if Moutinho wasn't hobbling slightly then as well.
Yeah, he looks to be wincing, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Hopefully he's okay, because he's a big player for Wolves, but these games are coming thick and fast, and you know, Wolves keep playing sort of the same sort of team, and they haven't rested anyone, and same as Villa, obviously they've had a muscle injury already, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, Villa without some key players already, the likes of Codger, Engels, Heaton, Wesley, all out. But this team is not doing too badly so far in the game as Samatta breaks clear on the far side. Number 1 is Samatta. He's tracked by Saiss. Hawes' first time delivery. Looks for the youngster Davis, who rises highest to get his header at least toward goal. But like earlier in the game when he had another header, well off target in the end and well above Rui Patricio's crossbar.
Yeah, it's a good ball in, but I think Cody just does enough there just to put Davis off. It doesn't give him a free header, and it would be some header if he scored from there. It's good defending from Cody.
So Davis still continues to wait for that first Premier League goal. Well, we'll see it, I wonder, over the course of the next few minutes. Mr. Distinctive has tweeted in from Port Harcourt in Nigeria. I fancy Aston Villa to take all 3 points, otherwise it would be a massive disappointment given how desperately they need those 3 points today near the bottom of the table. Mr. Distinctive, we shall see or not if you are right. They'll be happy-ish with their play in midfield and up front so far, even if they've looked a bit rickety at the back. But as we well know with Villa, it's all about taking chances. And can they do it? They're in possession through Taylor, the sub. Oh, dearie me, Nakamba looked up, trod on the ball and lost it. And in the end, it's won back with some excellent play from a man you highlighted, Douglas Luiz. And that was good, calm football there to make up for his young colleague's mistake. On the far side, though, Villa play a slightly short pass that leaves Konza struggling. Konza did just about enough to win it back, and it has been scrappy, but Villa's attack continues by hook or by crook. We just need that injection of pace and quality. Is it here? The answer is no. Luiz it was who continued his run. Konza's through ball trickles through to Rui Patricio. It's all a bit stop-start at the moment, Michael.
Yeah, it is, and I just noticed with Wolves, they're sort of letting Villa have the ball in their half and just inside their own half, and they look compact. They don't look like getting sort of played through. And I wonder if that's a tactic from Wolves, because they've done that a lot this season. They sort of sit off in the first half and sort of start slowly, and then in the second half they come on strong. So I wonder if that is a tactic that Wolves do use.
Crossfield ball, Konza again, tries to slide it through to Conor Hourihane. Roman Saiz reads that one. Jean Moutinho on the ball as he plays it inside to Neves, and Moutinho showing no major ill effects from that hobbling earlier. We'll see if he is okay to continue. Doherty, fortunate ricochet from Nakamba. Doherty's effort into the side netting. One of the best two opportunities of the game so far. The Irishman initially rode his luck as the ball ricocheted to his feet, continued his run into the area, right footer past Nyland, but into the side netting.
Yeah, he's got to do better there for me. He's got to go across the keeper. It's a good opportunity for Wolves. He tries to play a 1-2 with Dendoncker, and it actually comes off the Villa defender and goes straight back into Doherty's path. And he has a shot from sort of 6 or 7 yards. It is a tight angle, but I think he should do better. If he goes across the goalie there, can only see it being a goal really, or the keeper saves it and Jimenez gets the tap in. So
as much as Villa have done okay broadly in terms of play during this game, the best two chances have certainly fallen to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Raul Jimenez header that was straight at Nyland and saved at the second time of asking moments ago there. Matt Doherty, lucky ricochet, but into the side netting, could not make the most of that chance. We stop for the drinks break, the designated little drinks break that they have, of course, since Project Restart. 24 minutes played, Villa 0, Wolves 0 here on Premier League Live. I mentioned keep your tweets coming in. Toby Gillis, another of the commentary team here at Premier League Live, who, by the way, Michael, is a big Watford fan. So unsurprisingly, given that, he's saying, I'm supporting Wolves from afar today, listening to the excellent TalkSport Live. Shame about the commentator being Russ Hargreaves. Yeah, cheers, Toby. Appreciate that, mate. Yeah, great sideways banter from Mr. Gillis. But yeah, as a Watford fan, he wouldn't be alone, would he? So many fans of other teams near the bottom will be hoping that Wolves win this to do them a favour. Yeah, it's so tight down there, isn't it? Obviously, Watford are a point out of the relegation zone themselves, so they'll be looking on at this game and hoping that Wolves get the 3 points. But I think Villa have controlled the game for the first sort of 24 minutes, but Wolves have been the team to have the two good chances, really. So Villa could have quite easily been one down, but I think they've started better than Wolves, but they don't really look a threat, and that's been the story of their season, hasn't it? I could not agree more. I think we're seeing a little bit of the issues of Villa in a microcosm so far. We'll see whether or not they can kind of cling on for now and maybe nick something toward the end. Doug Miller has tweeted in, listening to the Match Boys while cooking bacon and eggs here in Florida. Thank you for not piping fake crowd noise in like our American colleagues do. Yep, that was our decision here, of course, to just give you the behind closed doors feel, where you can hear just now the shouts of the players, the coaches and so on. And yes, there's that slightly eerie resonance around an empty stadium, but it's very different, and I quite like it in one sense. We do get that kind of rawness, that purity, don't we, of almost, as you say, a lower league game or a behind closed doors training game. Not a big fan of the fan noise, to be honest with you. As you said, you can hear people calling for the ball and things like that, and Wolves on the attack now. They are on the attack. Here is Raul Jimenez. Good play from the right-hand side. Good delivery. Oh, Wolves very, very close to a goal there. I think it was Diego Jota, it was, who was ghosting in at the far post. Got ahead of Marvellous Nakamba, but couldn't steer it home. Jimenez, good run down this near side. Again, a slightly fortunate ricochet, but the Mexican happy to take it. Right-footed, bent in a probing delivery. It was beyond the Villa defence and inches beyond the Portuguese. Yeah, it's a great ball in from Jimenez, isn't it? And just too far in front of Jota. But good play from Jimenez down the right-hand side, and another chance for Wolves there. Really, really good chance. That's 3 they've carved out in the game. One that was saved, one that was just wide, and one that wasn't quite connected with. Some forceful play in midfield from Wolves now. We know that Ruben Neves likes to get stuck in. And in the end, Marvellous Nakamba is the player who's gone down. And he's fallen fairly awkwardly and he's holding on to his face. Neves and Doherty, the two players who were involved. Let's take a little look on the replay. Yeah, Neves flicks it on. It's actually Doherty's back that collides with Nakamba. His eyes on the ball. There's not much in that. I think it's just two committed bodies, but Nakamba's come off the worst, hasn't he?
Yeah, I just don't think he see Doherty there, and he sort of headed it on and then headed Doherty's shoulder, and it looks like a sore one.
Yeah, he's fallen awkwardly as well as the initial collision as well. And don't forget, in this game, Aston Villa have already lost one player to injury, Matt Targett, who appeared to pull some kind of leg muscle and was taken off a few minutes ago. And Dean Smith can ill afford losing his second player already. Got to say though, Marvellous Nakamba, the Zimbabwean, he's not looking great at this moment. I wonder whether he's almost concussed himself as he fell, in addition to the knock. Oh, maybe he is going to be okay. He's at least getting back to his feet now.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to be okay, and
looks groggy though, doesn't he?
He does, and he won't want to come off because obviously he's not started too many games since. He hasn't started since we've been back off lockdown. So he'll want to stay on the pitch and impress. Absolutely.
So he is one of those three changes: Nakamba, Hourahan and Davis to the team that drew against Newcastle. I'll remind you just of the teams for a second. Nyland, Konza, Hawes, Mings and Targett at the back for Villa. Nakamba and Louise, Hourahan and Grealish supporting Samatta and Davis up front. Targett now off, then Taylor on. Didn't actually mention the kits at the start of the game. Wolves kicking from right to left in their traditional claret and blue with white shorts and claret and blue socks, and they're back in possession now. This is much more like it. Referee Craig Pawson has to get out of the way as Douglas Luiz looks up, and not too many options in front of him, so the Brazilian goes back to Tyrone Mings. Out as far as his fellow defender, Courtney Hawes probes it forward, but easily intercepted by Wolves, by Ruben Neves, out to the far side. Diego Jota, who came so close to a goal a second ago, running up against Konza. Villa hold their line well though, and Wolves are forced back. Little 1-2 to Johnny Otto, who's in a bit of space now. The Spaniard, first time delivery, well blocked by Willy Bowley, who came tracking across, by Ezri Konza I should say. Konza with a good block, that was much more like it. And Villa pick it up on the far side, still stuck inside their own half. Grealish. Options once more a little bit limited as Wolves just track their men and keep their position tactically. Wolves thumped downfield by Courtney Hawes, and the whistle is blown, and the players aren't too happy with that. Was that a little jostle? Why's the flag gone there?
I think the ball hit the ref, didn't it? So when that happens, he has to restart the game, and it doesn't sound like Dean Smith's too happy about that.
Did it? There's one or two words there from Dino coming out, which you do get when you've got no crowd. You can certainly hear irate managers barracking, can't you? And hopefully the language isn't too choice, because that's not ideal.
No, it seems like they must have a microphone right near him there. So
I'm sure that's a good idea. A team that's second bottom with a firebrand of a manager could be a recipe for trouble. But what do you make of Dean Smith? He's obviously a local lad, a Villa fan, someone who did brilliantly as a boss at Walsall, at Brentford. Did well to get Villa promoted. I suppose the big question is he, I wouldn't say good enough, but ready to manage in the Premier League and be given a budget to bring players in at this level? Is the jury still out?
I like Dean Smith. I think he's a good manager, and I know someone that very well that played under him at Walsall and only got good words to say about him and said how good he was. So I'd like to see him be given.
Just come back to that in a second, because Villa are trying to make something happen. Ball miskicked in the end. Wolves get away with it. A shaky moment as Villa tried to put a little
and out of play for a Leeds United throw.
Yeah, it's a mountain to climb now for Fulham. Dance. Put themselves in a good position now, Leeds. They just don't need to do anything stupid now. They can get on the ball and keep the ball and move the ball about, frustrate this Fulham side.
There were a couple of games here last year that typified Leeds losing their way a little as they hunted automatic promotion. I think you were with me here one day, Neil, when